Welcome to this week's virtual Drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege of Parshas Tisa. The Parsha contains what could only be described as perhaps the most traumatic and tragic event of our history, Cheta Egel, sin of the golden calf. And we know the story. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to Har Sinai in an effort to bring down the Torah for us, for Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael miscalculates the number of days that Moshe Rabbeinu is gone, thinking perhaps that Moshe Rabbeinu has died, and just in a panic, they build the golden calf. What was the nature of the calf? Was the calf idolatry? Was the calf supposed to be a replacement for Moshe Rabbeinu to be a leader? That's a machlokes amongst the Mefarshim. But I want to draw your attention to a fascinating pasuk. So Moshe Rabbeinu is on the top of Har Sinai. Moshe Rabbeinu is in the midst, or really at the end of his 40 days and 40 nights. Lechem lo achalti mayim lo shasisi. He hasn't eaten anything. He has not consumed. Did not drink anything. Moshe Rabbeinu at this moment is more malach than man. He's more angel than mortal. And the pasuk says as follows. This is in Parak Lamed Beis, pasuk Zayin, chapter 32, verse 7. Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe. So you have to appreciate, literally, Moshe Rabbeinu and HaKadosh Baruch Hu are in the midst of this beautiful, holy, spiritual dialogue. HaKadosh Baruch Hu interrupts it and he says, Lech raid. Go. Lech means go, walk. Raid, you have to go down. For the nation, Moshe, for the nation that you have taken out of Egypt, they have corrupted themselves. They have destroyed themselves. Lech raid. Go and descend. Go and descend. And Rashi HaKadosh quotes the Gemara and says as follows, Lech raid migdulascha. See, Rashi understands through the lens of the Gemara that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is upset with Moshe Rabbeinu. Lech raid is not just a command. It's an expression of divine displeasure. Go Moshe, go. I don't need you anymore here. Raid migdulascha. Go down from your greatness. Why? Lo nasati lecha gidula ela b'shvilam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Moshe, you're only the leader. I've only conferred upon you prophecy, Ruach HaKodesh, Nevuah, Kedusha, because of your elevated status as leader of the people. But now that the people have morally bankrupted themselves, now that the people have engaged in this heinous behavior, I don't need them, and I don't need you. A dramatic statement, Lech raid, just go. At that point, Kiviyach Rashi in the Gemara that says that Moshe was like excommunicated from Hashem. Lech raid, 2 words, yet filled with like divine displeasure, divine anger, almost, if we dare say, a sense of divine disgust. Get out of here. Get out of here, Moshe. Moshe Baruch Hu feeling so angry and disappointed at Klal Yisrael and voicing that disappointment to Moshe Rabbeinu. But there's a beautiful insight that is given by the great tzaddik Rav Mordechai Chaim of Slonim, the Slonim Rebbe. And Mordechai Chaim of Slonim says as follows. He looks at this phrase a little bit differently. Lech raid. He says, listen to this. I want to quote to you. Kevan shenoda lemoshe ki chatu Yisrael be'egel. See, in this moment, of course, right, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, Lech raid, he tells Moshe, Kishiche Samcha. In other words, Moshe finds out what Klal Yisrael did. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells them, they built the Egel. What degree of specificity God gets into with Moshe Rabbeinu, I don't know. But Lamaisa, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, Lech raid, go, Kishiche Samcha. Your nation have bankrupted, destroyed themselves. So the Rebbe of Slonim says as follows. In that moment, when Moshe Rabbeinu hears that Klal Yisrael built the Egel, if you're Moshe Rabbeinu, what are you thinking in this moment? Chashon Baruch, you know what? I'm going to stay here. At this point, as we mentioned before, for 40 days, 40 nights, Moshe Rabbeinu has been with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't drink, he didn't eat, nothing. If you're Moshe Rabbeinu, says the Rebbe of Slonim, you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to stay here. I don't need to go back down to this. I don't need to get immersed in whatever tuma they're rolling around in. I don't need it. I'm just going to stay here with you, Ribono Shalom. What do I need this for? What do I need? What do I need to go back down there to a nation of idolaters? And if not idolaters, certainly a nation of ingrates. And it's in that, so says Rebbe Slonim, Moshe Rabbeinu in this moment is like, he has like this inner conflict. Maybe I should just stay here. Maybe I should just join the celestial sphere. Maybe I should just join the legions of Malachim. Leave the world behind. And just stay here, B'kedusha u'b'tara. And says the Rebbe of Slanim, in that moment, Chalish Baruch Hu turns to Moshe and says, Moshe, I am the Bochin Levavos. I am the Yodea Machshavos. I know what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. And here's what I have to say to you. Lech Reid, you need to go back down. Go back down. Literally, Reid Migidulas. Moshe, I know that you're on an elevated level here. I know that you're on an elevated status over here. I got it. Go down. Why? Achshav lo sasok b'Torah. Because Moshe, now is not the time for you to sit here and learn Torah with me. Ki shichei samcha. Because your nation is in trouble. And when your nation is in trouble, your job as a leader is to be there with them. Listen to the Rebbe's words. He says, Zehu ve'alecha leireid veliros manitin lasos b'chdei lechaper chatasam. Moshe, your job now is not to stay here with me. Your job now is not to learn Torah. Your job is not to contemplate should you join the celestial legions. Your job, Lech Reid Migdulascha. Right now, up here, you're a gadol. You're perched on the top of the mountain, focused, immersed in spirituality. Go down. Leave the greatness behind and go down to your people. Because when you are a leader and your constituents are in trouble, your job is to figure out how to help them right the ship. Your job is to help them achieve atonement. Your job is to help them through this difficult predicament. And the Rebbe says, Zeu tafkido shel maneg b'Yisrael. This is the job of a Jewish leader. Lo lehisrachik min ha'am berega shesarchu. You know, it's great to be a leader when everyone's doing exactly what you want. And it's great to be a leader when everything's going exactly according to plan. But the real job of a leader comes in moments where there's a breakdown. The real job of a leader comes in moments when their constituency, the flock, the nation, is in a state of disrepair. Then it's up to the leader to roll up his sleeves, to get to work, and to try to help. An incredible insight. Moshe Rabbeinu sitting on top of the mountain, hearing what his people did, contemplating, you know what, let me just leave it all behind and stay with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Malachim. And it's in that moment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives Moshe Rabbeinu a dramatic lesson in leadership. Lech Reid Migdulascha. It's beautiful, it's pure, it's holy, it's pristine right here. I need you to leave that all behind, and I need you to go down and to be with your people. Because the job of a leader is most important. Not when things are going great, because when things are going great, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing anyway. The major job of a leader is when things fall into a state of disrepair. The job of a leader is to rally the troops, inspire them with confidence that they could turn it around, create a roadmap for the future, help them achieve atonement, help them achieve kapara, help them achieve tara, help lift them out of the abyss of sin. Lech Reid Migdulascha. An incredible lesson in leadership and what it means to be a leader. But I think the Rebbe is teaching us something beyond just leadership. He's teaching us an incredible insight into bein Adam l'chaveiro. See, dear friends, often in life, we have this tension. And the tension is, I know that there are mitzvos bein Adam l'chaveiro. That I have interpersonal obligations. V'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. I have to love every Jew like I love myself. I have to be there for the other. I have to take care of the other, support the other. I know all of these things. What's the challenge? The challenge is, whatever time I give you is less time I have for me. Whatever resources I share with you, emotional or material, are less I have for me. And so I live life with this tension. That on one hand, we see this all the time, right? Self-actualization, becoming the best version of oneself. But to do that, I need to focus on me. But if I'm focusing on you, I'm not focusing on me. And to take even a step further, if I'm focusing on you and using my emotional, material resources, even leave aside material resources for now, my emotional resources, my time, my kochos on you, then don't I take a hit? At the end of the day, if I'm focused on you, then I can't be focused on building me. You could say, but if I build you, I build me. It's all very nice. But Lamaisa, I have an hour in front of me now. I could give it to you, help you, talk to you, deal with you this, or I could sit, I could learn, So what do I do? And here the Rebbe of Slonim is teaching us such an incredible lesson. That yes, when you help others, very often, you are giving up personalistic spiritual loftiness. You are. You are. But it's the best investment you could possibly make. Because what you give to the other is it's like a force amplifier. In other words, what you do for you is great for you. What you do for the other ultimately has a ripple effect well beyond you. We acknowledge the fact that when I do and I give to the other, it comes at a personal expense. It does. And it's disingenuous to pretend otherwise. I could be doing so many wonderful things for people, and that's great. But let me be honest. When I'm doing stuff for others, that is time, that is energy, that's emotional resources that I could have been devoting inwards, building the self. But I'm giving that up for you. And says the Rebbe of Slonim, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was teaching Moshe Rabbeinu. This twofold lesson. Number one, the din in leadership. That ultimately, again, what it means to be a leader is dafka when there's crisis. That's when you roll up your sleeves and get to work. Dafka when there's crisis. That's when your people need your leadership, need your inspiration, need your vision, need your optimism most. But it's not just the din in leadership. It's a din bin adam lechavero. You know, Chavre, if you think about it, how often I would love to just sit on my Har Sinai. I'd love to sit on the top of my Har Sinai, contemplating the world, contemplating my life, focusing on our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then when I want to do that, I hear that voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that says, Lech Reid. Lech Reid migdulascha. I know, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. I love having you here. I love seeing your growth. I love seeing your development. But you know what I love more? I love when you take your resources and instead of focusing them inward, focusing them outward. Even more than I love you sitting on top of the mountain, growing spiritually with me, I love even more when you could help out your nation, when you could help out your fellow Jew. The Ribono Shel Olam recognizes the expense that we incur, the personalistic expense that we incur when helping the other. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says it's the best expense and the best investment we could possibly make. Moshe Rabbeinu leaves the exalted perch on the top of Mount Sinai, comes down and leads the people to tshuva. If we are leaders, maybe Zocham Yeras Hashem to lead our flock in times of difficulty, to lift them up in the midst even of catastrophic circumstances. And even if we don't have a position of leadership, like Moshe Rabbeinu, we be Zocham Yeras Hashem, to give up a little bit of our personal kedusha in order to be able to invest and to help the other. Wishing everyone a good and Erev Shabbos and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.